A couple days ago, I made a video addressing the indie comic creator RubenBigBro and the problems he's inflicted onto the community via Discord. This included his substandard moderation and little care towards members of his server, but there were a few things I missed, so this is a follow-up to the past video I made about Ruben and filling in a few more gaps relating to other topics I've discussed thus far. First, I want to address the Ruben situation since it's been apparent I missed some stuff last time. Around January in the Discord server, Ruben would get into a debate with someone who jokingly called Ruben racist for calling a ninja that carried a gun a ninja from the hood. This never grew into anything big or problematic and ended in a couple hours after the argument began. Prior to this, Ruben would state that he quote-unquote loved debates, which is very contradictory to him, and I'll explain why. A couple months later in March, a question would be brought up asking how Blue Halo and Vayne would hold up against Spider-Man and Venom, in which Ruben claims Spider-Man is getting cooked. An account by the name of Blitz dissented the statement by claiming that Spider-Man would beat Blue Halo. Ruben got so mad over this and called it glaze, even when Spider-Man has shown strength feats far greater than Blue Halo. But regardless, another member by the name Sprite followed with, "Blitz, don't start it, he's just gonna ban you," referencing the several instances where members of the servers have been banned for simply sharing their opinions or disagreeing with Ruben. Blitz followed up with, "It's a debate, not an argument," which would be true considering a debate is a formal discussion on a particular topic in which opposing arguments are put forward. But Ruben countered with, "No, it's not a debate because you're saying stupid stuff." Quite anti-ethical for someone who loves debates. Ruben's basically saying that if you have an opinion that he doesn't like or agree with, then you're saying stupid stuff, which isn't the best way to go about someone else's opinions. Basically, his argument was that because Blue Halo is his character, he should know how powerful he is, and he can say whether he beats someone or not. But that's just not quite true, or how that works at all. See, Rob Liefeld said that Omni-Man could beat Superman, yet nobody agrees with that, because for a statement to be true, both parties must agree. And if the writer of Spider-Man doesn't say that Blue Halo wins, then it's not clear whether he wins or not. Plus, didn't everyone literally get mad at RTF for this exact reason? He also said this, which is a bit over the top, but moving on. This brings us to another argument between Blitz and Ruben, this time the center focus being RTF. Blitz shared many points that were in my RTF video and basically defended him. Basically, Ruben prevents anyone from defending RTF just because he doesn't feel the same way about him, which is very selfish and dismissive. Not everyone was hurt by RTF or has the same opinion about him, and you shouldn't treat that like something forbidden. Afterwards, Blitz said something along the lines of, "God would want us to forgive and treat others as our neighbor," and that Ruben is too old to be getting offended by these comments. Keep in mind, Ruben is a Christian, and you think he'd enforce this, right? Well, Blitz ended up getting banned for that, which was him saying the truth about how God would want us to react. Ruben also deleted the comments Blitz made, I guess so nobody could find them or find out what he was banned for. These are instances of how Ruben will ban people for speaking the truth and trying to hide the evidence. But now that that's out of the way, I'll address more of the issues people have with my previous installments. First off, it seemed a lot of people missed the point some of these videos were trying to get across. First, the Ruben video. The central idea was that Ruben is immature when it comes to criticism and opinionated arguments and how poor his moderation skills are. He claims that I make up random points to rage bait when all of my videos are literally backed by evidence. Yes, it's true that these racist alt accounts stayed in the server for hours and some even days before Ruben decided to do anything about it. And before you say you were asleep or you banned them eventually, in one instance of an account calling people slurs, you refused to ban them until you were sure of who it was. If someone is disrespecting members of the community and server and verbally abusing them, why would it be fair to let them stay in the server till more evidence is provided, rather than banning them and letting members get insulted? Most of the time, Gumbalaya was the one who solved these problems, who's honestly much more mature and forgiving than Ruben. Now for the RTF video, a lot of people assume the point of the video was for me to glaze RTF and ignore a lot of the things he said just because he's a kid, which I never did. I literally said in the video, yes, RTF says some pretty harsh things from time to time and makes very weird statements, especially about people's moms. I get that, but instead of taking these comments to heart or bullying him, just ignore all of it and stop whining about it. This clearly is me addressing the bad stuff he said, but you missed the point. My point was that even though he said bad things, the best solution isn't to come back with even more insults and hate speech, but to ignore it. I only included the fact that he was a kid because people are way too sensitive towards his messages, and people call him immature for overscaling his characters, which a child would naturally do. Kids like him don't care about good writing, they just want their character to be cool, and that's not something to get mad at. This proves most of you don't actually watch my videos, because I said that just because RTF may have bullied you in the past does not mean it's justified to bully or harass him back. I never once stated that RTF being a kid makes whatever he did right or reasonable. You can't fight fire with fire. And for those of you saying I'm only being part of the problem by making a video about RTF and indirectly giving him attention, first of all, ignoring RTF wasn't the only message I was trying to send with that video. If you actually watched the video, my main concern was about people who kept on bullying and making fun of him, and most videos like mine don't bother to mention this. And when I said to ignore RTF, I meant to ignore the hate comments, not denounce him completely. So no, my video was not doing the same thing all these other channels are doing. I'm giving him attention on purpose to address something I see happening daily within the community. But some people can't comprehend the thought of RTF being the victim. And lastly, the Atomic Rim video. Now, I got a lot of hate for this one, which a lot of it was primarily from RubenBigBro. Now, he claims that I'm hypocritical because I included the fact that RTF was a kid, even though Atomic is a kid too, and that I was glazing RTF. Now, I'm not going to go fully in depth because this man typed a whole ass book for me, but to that, I only mentioned RTF one time, and the point was that Atomic Rim is very susceptible and fragile to these words, or any form of criticism. Also, just because Atomic Rim is a kid as well does not mean to treat him like a baby. Atomic Rim is old enough and mature enough to know to not throw away an entire project just because one person doesn't like it. RTF isn't a supervillain. He's not going to dox you or harm your family. He's just a mean-spirited kid, and you should treat him as so rather than treating him like he's the worst person to touch the platform. Now, lastly, I'm just going to address this comment from Atomic Rim since there are a lot of things to consider. First off, you don't agree to doing an exposing video. That's not how this works. Second off, your argument is very flawed. I said in the video, but if you take inspiration too much, it eventually becomes copying. Sure, it's perfectly fine to take inspiration for something, but as I've already said, doing it too much basically takes the originality out of everything, and that's exactly what you did. Also, an AI assistant for someone who is supposedly rich, okay, just say a butler at this point. Wording it differently doesn't make it not a plain knockoff. And for the Zardax argument, there's literally a panel where Zardax is shown human and now appears robotic once Shaka comes along. And you say he's not a literal copy? Well, let's see. Here's Atomic Rim before Bullet Boy gets popular. As you can see, he has a head cap and a white cape. Now let's see after. See what I mean? Hair is now exposed and no more cape. Now let's compare Zardax, or at least what I believe is Zardax, to Shaka before and after Bullet Boy gets popular. And also, this is really stupid, because yes, you do control the dates. You're the one who's managing the comic, and the time you have to work on it is 100% up to you. But if you can't manage a balance between everyday life and making a comic, then maybe you shouldn't be making one. Also, the Unitech building sounds quite a lot like Nextech, but that's just my opinion. Not to mention, the first page of both Bullet Boy and Atomic Rim is almost a one-to-one. I mean, if you're going to take inspiration, at least make the book itself look original. And that's pretty much it. It's clear that what I've said is undisputed, yet people will still go as far to discredit it for their own personal sake. But let me know your thoughts. Happy Easter.